Good morning and welcome back to Questioning Sense with me, Matt. I hope you guys are well. All is good here, thanks very much. Had a slight injury. Well, I'm carrying a slight injury, as us professional athletes like to say. Yeah, I've done my shoulder in, which is proving to be a bit of a pain, but it's now kind of eased off a little, so I can talk without screaming in agony. So I thought we'd do a quick video. We're going to revisit a couple of videos we've done in the past about compliments. Now, I think it's nice and fair to say that we all wear perfumes for ourselves. If you're watching this video, the chances are that you are, like myself, really, really into your perfume. And, you know, you're kind of like most of us. You're buying perfumes that you like the smell of. Obviously, you've got to have a certain amount of respect for the people you're around. So, I've got lots of fragrances that my wife doesn't particularly like, that I love, so I don't wear them when I'm with her. But ultimately, pretty much all the, in fact, every perfume that I've bought for myself, I've bought because I like the smell of it. I'm not too fussed about how they're received by other people. Obviously, if I'm wearing something or if I've got a fragrance in mind to wear that's going to be, horrible to the people around me, then I will only wear it when I'm on my own. It's like if I'm swiping oud, I tend to do that when everybody else has gone to bed, and I can enjoy the oud without upsetting anybody else in the household. And the same applies for work. If I'm working in the office, if I've got a rare trip to the office, I'm going to wear a fragrance that's office appropriate. It's easy to get wrapped up in the beauty and the artistry of fragrances that we love, but obviously you've got to wear it in the right surroundings. You don't really want to be offending anybody with your fragrance, do you? I mean, I certainly don't. I think I certainly have, but yeah, it's, you learn from your mistakes, put it that way. Now, on the whole subject of compliments, I think I mentioned this more or less word from word in the last one. You've got to understand that not every person that speaks to you about their fragrance, you can't think of that as a compliment. Quite often people are just sort of referencing your fragrance as in, I can smell something on you. It might not necessarily mean that they love it, but they're just recognizing that you are wearing a fragrance. Every now and again, people will come up to you and ask you what you're wearing, especially if you're, in my experience, I find that fragrances that have a strong sillage generally are the ones that get the better reception. Now, I know that there's this kind of like thought that YouTubers don't actually get fragrance compliments and they're making this all up for the sake of videos. And I'm sure that is the case in in certain situations. For me, in my job, which is 95% of where random compliments come from, I work very closely with the public and I spend a lot of time with different members of the public. And I actually, in my role, I'm speaking to them face to face. And that's, seems to be, people often mention my fragrance when I'm at work, and it seems to help them start a conversation or enable them to continue with the conversation. So I think that's kind of where a lot of it comes from. A couple of times, I've been stopped and asked what fragrance I'm wearing. A couple of times I've been out with my wife and waitresses have asked what fragrance I'm wearing. I've been taking my son to school and I've been stopped and asked about fragrances, normally by other mums, to be fair. But that's kind of changing now because lots of people at my son's school know that I'm into fragrance. They know about the channel. They actually are subscribed to the channel. My friends socially will talk to me about fragrance because, again, they know I'm into perfume. They know I've got the Instagram page. They know me and Rich have this channel. So, those aren't necessarily unsolicited compliments because, when I'm in company socially, perfume's going to be part of the conversation. So these are, so this is kind of a little reflection on that, really. In the past, when we've done sort of compliment videos, what we try and do is, these are our most complimented most complimented fragrances, that kind of thing. So there hasn't really been much change, I think, to my number one complimented fragrance, which is still Bergamusk. I think it always will be. I don't think there's ever going to be another perfume yet that I've found that comes close to it in terms of how it's received, especially in the heat. And the other thing is, when it gets really, really hot, another one from Orto Paresi also seems to pull in massive amounts of compliments, and that is a Mega Mara. These two fragrances are fragrances that are designed to excel in hot weather. So those two are easily by far my most complimented. But we have 10 others for us to have a look at, and there's one that's really proving very popular, so we'll leave that one to last. So what we've done, as usual, I've broken it down. We've tried not to go too niche heavy. We've tried to put a couple of more affordable fragrances in there, which are generally really well received. So we'll go through these, a whistle stop tour, and we'll see what you think. Okay, first up, a real favourite of mine, and one we've spoken about quite a lot recently, and that is from Frederic Malle, The Promise. This is amazing. It's fantastic in cold weather, but bizarrely, you wouldn't think it, but it works so well on a hot day. This explodes in the heat. There's just so much going on here. This fruitiness, the roses, the cypriol oil, nagamotha, it just explodes. Massive, massive projection, which again helps get you on other people's radar. Really, really strong sillage. Just a work of art. This is a masterpiece. It is an expensive fragrance, but if you can get it discounted or try and get a partial from somewhere, if you like that whole kind of Arabic style perfumery, then you're going to love this. And it's a Dominic Ropignon fragrance. It's utterly, utterly devastating. It's, I think, you know, even if you consider putting this up to, say, the night, I think this is my favourite from the house. I think this is just outstanding. And the thing is, I mean, I do love the night and I would love to own a bottle of it, but I know I'd never be able to wear it. This I can wear pretty much anywhere apart from the office because it's a little bit too pokey. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. So that's the first one, and that's The Promise from Frederic Malle. Next up, we're going to go with another one that I've spoken a lot about lately, and that's Bois Imperial, Quentin Bish's masterpiece for essential parfums. And this is undoubtedly one of the best value fragrances on the market. 100 mils for under £70. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Very, very airy, very, very long lasting. Always seems to attract attention when you wear it. Perfect all year round, works well on a warm day, works well on a cold day, office safe, pub safe, gig safe, party safe, you name it, you can wear it anywhere. Fantastic, totally unisex. I cannot say enough good things about this. Would probably have to be the bargain of the century when it comes to quality perfume. But because again, this is another one with a really, really good sillage. People around you pick up on it, and because it just smells nice, it smells clean, it smells interesting, it is perfect. I think also the key to it is it's quite inoffensive. So nobody around you will dislike it, but everybody will like it. So that is really, really popular and highly, highly recommended. Okay, next up a classic, and one I need to replace because I'm running out, and that's New York Intense by Parfums Nicolai. An expensive fragrance, but you can get these 30ml bottles for less than £60, and this is a masterpiece. Every person that's interested in fragrance should at least have smelt this. And I know this is going to make me sound really sexist because I know lots of women like this too. But if you're a guy, you need to have this in your collection. It's brilliant. It's lemony, there's petitgrain. You know, it's just the most modern take on a classic gentleman smelling fragrance. It's a masterpiece, there's no doubt in that. It's just absolutely perfect. The performance is excellent, it's long lasting, it has good projection, it has a noticeable sillage, it's clean, it's fresh, it's invigorating, it smells sophisticated, and when you're wearing this, it makes you smell like you care about yourself. And I think that's half the battle. You can smell amazing, but if you look like a mess, people aren't really going to be interested. But if you're smart, you're elegant, you speak well, you're not shouting at people and swearing your head off, and you smell nice, that's a great way to get a compliment. And if you're wearing this with it, pretty much guaranteed. I mean, obviously nothing's guaranteed, but this is a fantastic fragrance. And I really do need to get another bottle ASAP. I'm lucky because there is a store in South London, so as soon as I'm passing there for work, I shall pick up another bottle. And these 30ml bottles are fantastic. I wish every house did a 30ml bottle. Okay, next up, another expensive one, I'm afraid, and that's Ormond Jane's Nawab of Oudh. Now, this is a beautiful, beautiful fragrance. It's obviously a Giza Schön one, not a Linda Pilkington one for Ormond Jane, but it's fantastic. Now, I love the house. I have 6 or 7 from Ormond Jane, and this was one of the ones that I kind of avoided getting, and I'll tell you for why. It's a fantastic fragrance. The performance is blistering. It's really airy. It's very, very strong. It has good projection. It lasts a very long time. Smells devastatingly beautiful. But it's called Nawab of Oudh. Now, I was always slightly put off by the fact when I tried this that the oud wasn't that prominent. I've always looked at this as more of a floral fragrance. It's completely unisex, it's very airy, it's clean, it's fresh to a degree, and there's some heavier notes in there with this oud. Now, because, I don't know, when a fragrance says it's got oud in it, I'm always expecting the oud to be a major player, or hoping that the oud would be a major player, and this it's not. It's subtle. And then I kind of realised that that's the whole point of it. This is a fragrance of many, many notes. You have some florals, you have some citruses, and you have this oud. The art of it is it's all been weaved together to make this wonderful, wonderful fragrance. And, you know, I think part of its other success, which I completely missed when I was sort of sampling it, is that the oud isn't that dominant, and that's what makes it so mass appealing, because lots of people have a love or loathe relationship with oud, and what this does is it balances it out exactly right, so you have a little hint of this magical mystical material but not too much, and that's why this is always going to be popular. It is expensive, as I said earlier, but if you can get a partial in a Facebook group, or if you can pick up one from eBay. It's always a bit risky buying fragrances from eBay, but this actually came from eBay from a trusted seller for half price, so I was really happy with it. So keep your eyes peeled, bargains can be had. And because Ormond Jane aren't a brand that's that well known, they're quite popular within the British fragrance community, but worldwide they're not that well known. They've not really been faked that much. I think you're fairly safe with these. But if you do get a chance, or you're quite wealthy and you want to go out and buy a bottle, please do, because this is phenomenal. Okay. Next up, another really good cost-effective fragrance, and I think this appeared in the last list as well, because it always goes down well, and that's Escentric Molecules number 4. Not Escentric Molecules 4, this is Escentric Molecules number 4, so this is not the single note perfume. So Escentric Molecules 4, or Molecules 4, sorry, let me get this right. Molecules 4 is just Jarvanol. Escentric Molecules 4 is Jarvanol with other things, namely this beautiful, crisp, fresh grapefruit on the top. Performance is fantastic. This is one of those modern molecular style fragrances that works so well on my skin. In fact, I find that molecular style modern aroma chemical fragrances do really well on me. Maybe not for you, but because there's lots of other materials in here other than just the Jarvanol, it's worth going. This is almost beast mode on my skin. It flows out everywhere you go. The sillage is fantastic. The projection is huge. This crisp grapefruit with this wonderful sort of sandalwood-esque like vibe. Jarvanol is a synthetic sandalwood, so there's no real sandalwood in it at all, but it just works. It's crisp, it's fresh, it's really intriguing, it's lovely, it lasts and lasts, and it smells wonderful. This is such you can see how much of that I've used, and this is like a daily driver for work in the summer. I love it, and it always smells good on me, and it always seems to generate some real kind of interest. So really happy with this one, and it's such an affordable fragrance as well. These 100ml bottles are a great. You can get a 30ml as well and a 50, but I would advise getting the 100ml, because once you've tried it, you're going to wear it all the time. So superb stuff. Okay, next up we have Parlez-moi Parfum Wake Up World. This was recommended to me by my friend Claire and her lovely husband Brad. Hi guys! And this is fabulous. They really rated this one, so I blind bought it, and what a successful blind buy this was too. It's a beautiful warm freshie, so it's not a freshie as in a citrus freshie, although there's citrus notes in here. It has been said on Fragrantica that this is kind of very much like Minotaur, an old Picasso fragrance. Now, I haven't tried it, so I can't confirm, but this is lovely stuff. You have a fresh sign to it from bergamot. There's a little bit of rose in here, but there's ambergris, there's benzoin. There's no lavender mentioned, but I get lavender from it, and it's just this beautiful sort of, I don't know, it's great, it's sort of freshness and warmth all together to make a very cozy fragrance. It doesn't, it's a long-lasting fragrance. It doesn't seem to project that much, but it's noticeable, and it has a good sillage. Interestingly, for more of an intimate fragrance, I'm surprised that this has been so well received. Pretty much every time I've worn this to the pub, someone's picked up on it. Oh, what are you wearing? I must have told about 10 people so far, what this fragrance is, because it is really rather lovely. It's not a cheapie, but it's definitely worth it. There's a 100ml bottle. The presentation's really nice. I like everything about this. It comes in a tube, in a little bag as well, so it's really rather good. Highly recommended sampling it, because it's not, I was going to say it's not going to be for everyone, but I don't think there's anything offensive about it. I think it is going to be for everyone, actually. It's, my friend Claire, she wears it, her husband wears it, so it is unisex. I think it's probably a little masculine leaning, but it's lovely. Really good. Highly recommended you try this one. And as I say, it seems to always get a good reception when I wear it. So there we have it. Wake Up World from Parlez-moi Parfum. Okay, next up, I've got to include this, Ganymede, which is bizarre because 5-6 months ago, I hated it. Now I love it. It's the big brother to Bois Imperial. I think we can, I think that's been sort of well established. Quentin Bish is a perfumer, and Marc Antoine Barros or Barrio is the house. It's an expensive fragrance. It's around £150 for 100 ml, but it's just unbelievable. It is definitely a fragrance you will have to sample. If you've not tried Ganymede, you really should, because you're either going to absolutely love it or absolutely hate it. And I get that. There's violet leaf in here, there's suede, there's a little bit of citrus, there's some florals, there's a very mineral-like feel to it. It is incredibly similar in the dry down to this one, but I think it's more potent. I think it's a little bit punchier. I just understand that, you know, this violet leaf is the key to me. I didn't like it at all until I wore it on a hot day, and then it was magnificent. So I really recommend you try this one. I don't understand why this seems to be so divisive, because people, when I wear it, are always, if I wear it to work, always asking me what it is I'm wearing. What's that perfume you've got? Amazon delivery driver came up the other day and I was wearing it, and the first thing he did was like, "This is for you. What's that perfume?" And I was impressed, actually, because he called it a perfume, not an aftershave. So there you go. But because I think it is divisive, people are either going to recoil from you or they're going to shower you with adoration. But this certainly has to be experienced, and for me it's proving to be an incredibly popular perfume when I wear it, so it's definitely well up in the list. Okay, next up we have one that I've talked about recently. This has got to be the best bargain out there apart from Bois Imperial, and this is I from Costume National. Yes, it does smell a lot like Leighton, but without the the overdone apple in the top. It's a fantastic, fantastic fragrance, and I highly recommend you try this one. There is a full review of it in the channel below, so if you want any more information about this beautiful, sweet, leathery lavender, just modern designer fragrance that costs less than £40 for 100 ml, this is fantastic. It should be in every young chap, old chap, young woman, old woman's repertoire. It's beautiful stuff. Really, really good performance, and I absolutely adore it. Strongly, strongly, strongly recommend this one. Fabulous. Okay, down to the last two. Okay, the last two of my most complimented recent acquisitions. Both of these fragrances are molecular style perfumes. Both of them are ultra modern, and both of them are as mad as a box of lights. But I love the pair of them. The most recent one is this little fellow here, and it's called Genetic Bliss, and the house is 2787 Parfums. Good name, because they sell their bottles in 27 mils, like this one, or 87 mils. This is the 27 mil, and it was a blind buy, and my gosh, what a blind buy this is. This is outstanding. I've not had it long, but every time I've worn it, people have absolutely raved about it. The amount of times I've had to write it down, because you're trying to get someone to remember 2787 Parfums Genetic Bliss, it seems a bit crazy, but this is fabulous. It's just amazing. I was talking about it on Instagram the other day. The first time I applied it, it was really, really weird, because I sprayed it here, 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 and it filled the room with this beautiful, sweet, deep, resinous, but airy woodiness. It was fabulous. I'd never smelled anything quite like it, and I was sort of like, oh, really? And then it disappeared. I couldn't smell it at all, and I was like, oh no, it's going to be one of those. And then about 10 minutes later, it came back, this sweet woodiness, but there was almost like some freshness, almost like a citrusy, almost neroli-like vibe to it, which dissipated incredibly quickly. I have no idea what that was about, but then it was just this airy, punchy, very, very potent, sweet woodiness. In fact, I can't stop smelling it. It's so, so, so good. There's a lot, I mean, it's all made up of aroma chemicals. So you have Akigala wood in here, which is also in here. And I think there's some Akigala wood in Ganymede as well. So it's made up of these modern chemicals. There's Jarvanol, so you've got the synthetic sandalwood in here too. And it's just sweet. There's almost like a hint of a sweet oud in the dry down. But it lasts and lasts and lasts. We went out to a bit of a shindig, and I was wearing it. It absolutely stole the show. Everybody seemed to want a bottle of it. And then I came home, we had a glass of wine, I fell asleep on the sofa, woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning to go to bed, and it was still belting out. So it's incredibly potent. It's going to be really, really easy to overspray, but the sillage is phenomenal. When I got my wife to test it, I could smell her all around the house. Literally, it was following her. I didn't even have to ask where she was. There's this trail of her, you know, all over the shop. It's fantastic. It's going to be, the problem we've got with it's going to be difficult to sample, and because it is quite expensive, I think it's about £70 for these little 27 mils. So it is expensive, but it's sort of like, you know, well within Mas Milano or Nasamato pricing. But you might not necessarily be able to smell it on you. I'm lucky I can with no problem whatsoever, but I'm sure some of you will struggle to smell it on themselves. But if you're like me, one of the lucky ones, you will love this. But more importantly, you know you will smell amazing. And sadly, for those of you that can't smell it on yourselves, be assured that everybody else around you will be able to smell it, and it's phenomenal. So I really, really recommend trying this one. If you can get a decant from someone, please do. If you can get a sample, or if there's any stores that sell it near you, go in and try it, because this is absolutely awesome. Amazing stuff. So, down to the number one fragrance outside of Bergamusk and Megamara. And although, to be fair, this one's chasing Bergamusk quite hard, and that's from Le Labo, and that's another 13. And as I said, these two are very molecular style perfumes. This is fantastic. This is absolutely glorious. And what I love about it is that you can layer it with other fragrances as well. It's super, super, super strong. The notes make no sense to me at all, so I'll just tell you, you know, what I can get from this is it smells to me like a warm, toasted ambrette with a sort of a clean papyrus underneath it, but it's ethereal, it's everywhere. It's another one, again, sorry that some people just cannot smell on themselves. I can. I smell it from the second it hits my skin till the second I wash it off, basically. It's very, very potent, but it creates this wonderful cloud around you. The sillage, you know, the sillage on these two are incredible. You know, the heat just brings it out. If you wear this on a hot day, they will smell you on Mars. It really is that potent. But my gosh, it's a glorious, glorious fragrance. Thankfully, Le Labo are kind of everywhere now, so you can pop into quite a few different stores and get to try them. They are expensive, but you know, for this one, it's definitely worth it. I know, you know, man on the internet talks about Le Labo without mentioning Santal 33 Shocker. I don't own Santal 33. I will do one day because I do like it. But I really, really like this one. I wanted to buy a bottle of Bay 19. So I went to try it in store for one last time, and then I just tried this on the off chance and thought, do you know what, I prefer this. So Bay 19 is the next on the list, and Santal 33, or I may just have to buy another bottle of this. I'm already regretting buying the 50, not the 100ml, because it is phenomenal. It's just one of those feel-good, sweet, airy perfumes that's not too much. Beast mode, absolutely beast mode, if you can smell it. And that is the problem with these things. You will need to test that in store, but if you do and you like these sweet, airy, welcoming, pleasant, I don't know, non-challenging perfumes, then I thoroughly, thoroughly recommend that you give another 13 a try. And if you can, certainly give that a try. In fact, try them all. Treat yourself. You're worth it. You know, get a chance to have a sniff of as many of these as you can. I'm sure you will like them. Anyway, thank you very much for your time. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I've got thousands to make, so hopefully I'll try and get back on schedule. I do apologise. But yeah, any comments, any questions, hit us up on Instagram, which is the easiest place to get me, or leave a comment below the video, or I will see you in the world of Facebook. Anyway, thank you very much for your time, and we will see you soon on the next video. Cheers, thanks, and